Lord said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." Now out of the ground the Lord had formed every beast of the field.
Yeah, so a little bit of our story is we met in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
We met at Focus on the Family, an internship in Colorado.
But we both went out there with the intention of starting fresh and being independent with no strings attached. And so the idea of a relationship, let alone marriage, was not even in the books for us.
Seeing her in her dress will be fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You guys gonna do a first look?
No.
Nope.
No.
Just right, she's coming down?
Yep.
Nice.
I like it that way better.
So if you would have told me a year ago that I was getting married a year from that day, I would not have believed you. It's kind of crazy that we are where we are today and that we're getting married in just a couple of hours.
Andrew Keith Hobbs, the man I will soon marry and be with forever. That's forever with a capital F. I have a very distinct memory of a conversation I had with our friend Kendra last summer. We were driving home from work on Powers Boulevard. After a few minutes of silence, Kendra spoke up and said, "You know, whoever marries that Andrew Hobbs guy sure is a lucky girl." I thought about her random comment, smiled, and then responded, "Yeah, whoever that lucky, blessed girl is sure getting an incredible man. I've never met anyone quite like him." Who knew that lucky, blessed girl was going to be me? I sure didn't, but God sure did.
Sarah, we've made it. I know you think this has taken a long time, but really it hasn't. It's just under a year since you decided that giving long-distance dating a try wasn't the worst thing in the world. I'm glad we decided to go for it. I wouldn't change the last year for anything.
You're one of those same people on her. We'll forever know that it's a selfie that was being recorded.
Moving out there was challenging in the regard of finding a community and just close friends. And so now it's exciting that we both will have not just a best friend, but we'll have a spouse, which is really fun. Just to live life and to work and to explore and enjoy being outside. And so that's pretty exciting that we're both going to have a companion out west.
Andrew, remember when we met in Colorado Springs, Colorado, almost a year ago? I packed my bags and left Tennessee for a grand adventure. You packed fewer bags and left Kentucky for a new beginning. Not only did we both find what we're looking for out west, but we found more than we could ever have dreamed up. God gave us each other, and with this gift came a best friend, an incredible love, and one heck of a story. The beginning of our story was a little all over the place because of me, I know. After our date on the border, there were so many factors and scenarios bouncing around in my head. I really, really liked you. I could tell that you really, really liked me. We were about to commit to a long-distance relationship amidst everything else. After many days of yeses and nos from my end, emotional turmoil, you know how I'm a little dramatic sometimes, incessant prayer, seeking wisdom, and a trip to Rocky Mountain National Park, I did what I knew was right. I jumped and said yes, and surprisingly, after all of that, you said yes again, too. Think of all that God had to do to take us through before we could be ready for each other. The heartbreak, pain, mistakes, and grace. And now we're here. Those are just some of the reasons, now among a million bajillion more, why I said yes to marrying you.
You've made me happier than I've ever been, though I know it won't always be that way. We'll be sad, upset, frustrated, angry, and confused, but we'll also be together always.
Jesus has to be the answer. Don't underestimate the power of a praying couple. When you go on your knees together as a couple, you are fighting battles that only God can fight. And when God is fighting for you, you are always going to win.
Andrew, we're getting married. And in a few hours, I will make promises to you and God that cannot be undone. To me, those vows are not the beginning of our story, but the first page to a really stinking, great, unforgettable chapter. Today, in addition to my vows, I can promise to not be perfect, but to be yours, your best friend, your person, your lover to the sun, your exploration companion, your prayer warrior, your museum browsing partner, your 50 states visiting mate, your teammate, your wildflower, your wife. You have taught me so much, Andrew Keith.
Just the other day, my dad told me that he had heard some horror stories of regret the day after the wedding. That won't be us. I'll feel the same way my dad did almost 37 years ago when he married Mom. I'll feel whole. See you at the altar. Love, Andrew.
I always say you make me a better Sarah. My only hope is that I make you a better you. Dating you changed my life. Being engaged to you is changing my life. And in a few hours, I know marrying you will change my life too. I'm gonna live my life to keep the promises we make. I know I'm ready. I know you're ready too. All my love with a capital L, Sarah Ellen.
So I'm encouraging you. God has assessed the situation, has assessed your situation, and said you need a partner. And this is what He's doing right now. The two shall become one. That said, are you ready to make this commitment?
We are.
We are.
Awesome. Andrew, do you take Sarah to be your wife? And do you promise before God and these witnesses that you will be true to her in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, and in forsaking all others, you will keep yourself to her only until God will separate you by death?
I do.
Awesome. Sarah, do you take Andrew to be your husband? And do you promise before God and all these witnesses that you will be true to him in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, and forsaking all others, you will keep yourself to him only until God will separate you by death?
I do.
And now, because you have pledged yourselves this day to each other and made a commitment before these people and the Almighty God, I now pronounce you husband and wife, and you may kiss the bride. It is now my privilege to introduce to you, for the very first time, this has never been done before. For the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Hobbs.
A picture paints 1,000 words. Take this one from me. Slideshows of souvenirs in endless memories, and all these picture perfect days, they say what words could never say, and the smiles will never fade, and there's nothing I would ever trade for these picture perfect days. Flipping through the good times, one by one. Here's the one where we shine.